This is one of the wealthiest neighborhoods on the planet, and we tend to block a lot of new homes in part to protect parking spots for our cars. So here in Nolita, homes rent for about $75,000 a month. Hang with me while we walk up to it. They'll sell for $10 million, $20 million. Some penthouses may go for $30 million. So you've got some of the richest people on the planet living here. Now, when you look at New York City, it is a little bit like the suburbs. In the suburbs, you have zoning that's used to block new homes that restricts new housing supply and keeps home values up. The value of the land goes up over time, and that means that homes get more and more expensive. Now, in New York City, if we go back about 50, 60 years, there used to be a public school here in this neighborhood. That was demolished when people left the city because of lead pollution, because of segregation, a whole bunch of other problems. People left Nolita and this area was depopulated. But now a lot of folks have come back. We've got the lead out of the air. We've got like a lot of cleaner air. So folks have moved back into the city, and this became a very wealthy neighborhood. So real estate values go up. Now, in New York City, there's a huge demand for both market rate housing and rent stabilized housing. And here they were going to propose a retirement home for about 116 elderly New Yorkers that have lower income, but the neighborhood is blocking it. Now, there's a bunch of reasons that you might want to try to keep the neighborhood the same, which is really kind of nice, but we ignore the side effects of blocking both affordable housing and market rate housing in cities. And in New York City, it's created a giant affordability problem. Whether you're in Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Staten Island, anywhere, we tend to block a lot of new homes to preserve the feel of our neighborhood. The problem is when nothing changes, everything changes. When you don't build a lot of new homes, those rents are going to go up. They're going to go up by quite a bit. One bedroom in New York City is going to rent for $4,500 a month. That is pretty expensive. So lower income families are forced to move out, maybe to places like Austin, Texas, which is building new homes, and then wealthier and wealthier people move into the city. Now, it is nice to see trees. I like that. But the side effect is that you have a park over here, got a cemetery over there, you have another park about 2 blocks away. So there are parks in the neighborhood. And when you block a lot of what can be built, this is city land, one of the few city plots that can kind of be built on, that's in a neighborhood that's close to mass transit, that's close to hospitals and services for the elderly, well, we kind of run into problems. And you can weaponize it. As long as you don't pay attention to the cost of not building new homes, it feels like you should block things. If nothing really did change, it would make sense to keep everything the same and to block everything. By not building this, you could make about 116 elderly New Yorkers homeless. And when we're talking about it, that's never brought up. We think about the trees or kind of protecting the open space or protecting the parking spaces we have for our cyber trucks. And that gets really kind of expensive. We need to be able to look at every new development in New York City or in the suburbs or whatever city you're in and say, is it worth it? Should we block 100 people from moving into our neighborhood to protect parking lots, to protect the view from our penthouse? If you're living here, you're making a lot of money. You've got really nice cars. You can park this car for free on the street. And when you're making a lot of money and you're spending $75,000 on a house to rent in this neighborhood, you want to block a lot of unsightly things. You don't want to see a bunch of old people in your neighborhood. You don't want to see low-income homes. You don't want to see older people walking in the neighborhood. It hurts the vibe of Nolita. And that is a big problem. In our towns, we should encourage more retirement homes. We should encourage more market rate homes. We should encourage more families to come in by being more acceptable and saying, hey, we can grow our neighborhood. We can grow our town. We can grow some new homes. Because honestly, I'm not sure New York needs to worry so much about car parking. We got the subway, and we can learn to grow up.